Hello, my name is Dr. Jim Parker, and I'm the Executive Director of the Michael and Sarah Moscow Institute of Archaeology at the New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. Through our institute, which involves the Center for Archaeological Research, and in collaboration with the H. Milton Haggard New Testament Textual Study Center, we're on the cutting edge of textual work on ancient biblical manuscripts and involved in some of the most important research in the area of biblical archaeology that's currently being done in the land of Israel. We've recently opened the Museum of the Bible and Archaeology at New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary and are currently displaying many of the pieces of our collection of manuscripts, pottery, and other ancient artifacts. We would welcome your visit here to the museum in New Orleans. Well, the next 15 minutes, we'd like to take you on a journey to Tel Gezer in Israel and show you what it's like to work on an archaeological excavation. You'll meet the other key archaeologists on the project, as well as many of our faculty and volunteers. Come along as we travel back 3,800 years through history to the time that Abraham and the patriarchs walked the land of Israel.
Gezer itself, of course, has always been a very significant site, even in the Bible, mentioned in 1 Kings chapter 9, given to Solomon as a dowry when he married Pharaoh's daughter. The city itself sits on the famous Via Maris, the Way of the Sea, which is out to the west of us, and it protects a strategic entrance into and up to the city of Jerusalem, and it is known as the Ajalon Valley. Of course, you have that story in the book of Joshua, where the Canaanite kings unite against Joshua, and the Gibeonites, I should say, and Joshua defeats them all the way down the Ajalon Valley, and Gezer is the main fortified city that the Canaanites lose the battle close by. So in history, Gezer has always stood as one of those significant sites in the ancient world. Remember, in the ancient world, cities were not built because it was a nice place to live. Cities were built because of their strategic location, access to water. If you didn't have water, obviously you're not going to build a city. Defensive purposes, and then also being near trade routes. Gezer fits all of those characteristics, qualities, right to a T.
It was amazing to understand that it's very, very old, the oldest in the world that we know today.
It's unique, obviously. There's nothing else like it in the ancient world. But at the same time, it's going to contribute some significant information for our understanding of the Canaanites. So it's a very powerful city during the Canaanite period. Massive walls, massive towers, massive gates, massive monoliths, standing stones which would be up and behind me to the east. And then this massive water system, we believe all cut and developed at the same time. So even though the Canaanites in the Bible are presented as pagan, and rightfully so, worshiping many idols and all types of various grotesque sacrifices, yet at the same time, these were quite the engineers. You might have seen in some other videos that we've been working here now for 7 years. This is 2016, so you can do the math.
It started as a project to clean the water system. And that water system was excavated by McAllister during the first 2 years of the 19th century, and then it was stay open almost more than 100 years. Since then it was filled with washing material from all the Tel, and even the American team managed by Deaver threw some of their dams to this tunnel.
It partially collapsed and the debris filled up all the way to this arch that is behind me. So the challenge was to see if we could excavate the whole thing.
Now we have to understand that such a water system all over the country dated always to the Iron Age, and they know for sure that this water system was built by the Iron Age or created by the Iron Age people. The problem was that nobody dug such a thing by hand. It's always by bulldozers and such a thing, because it's very huge quantity of dirt and sherds.
Now we are trying also to understand the outer buildings that are very close to the water system, and by those buildings we are thinking that we will find the solution when they made this water system.
So after 3 years of cleaning and clearing of the steps and the entrance and the bottom, they reached the conclusion that they found the place that McAllister was stopped his work, and it's something entirely new. And they collect the sherds, all the sherds from this point. And at that point, I was involved in this project because my expertise is not water systems. My expertise is pottery. Covered in white. Is a chocolate.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'll just hold
Same family without the varnish. It's covered with this white material. It belongs to this family. So when Zvika showed me the pottery the first time, I told him two different things. First, I told him that all the pottery that he showed me is a late Bronze Age pottery and not an Iron Age. Second, that it's not a usual pottery from the Tel, because on the Tel the pottery include very small sherds, but this pottery was include huge sherds, almost complete vessels, so away to this place, and a lot of bones, of animal bones. So I come to the conclusion that it's not go by the rain, but it's put by people who block the water system during the late Bronze Age. The historical meaning of such a idea is that this water system was built earlier than the Bronze Age, than the late Bronze Age. And it's very important because this one are MB, those are LB1, those are LB2. So if you find a ring of any of them, you can see immediately which area and this kind of orange belong to this, to the areas. It's LB1.
Not only the date of the water system, but also where did the water come from? What's its source? And then the magnitude of this system, it's gigantic. It's over about 26 feet tall, about 14 to 15 feet wide, and it goes presently about 145 feet down underground. So it's an exciting challenge to investigate the engineering, the ability to carve such a monumental system. The walls are very nicely plumbed, they're very straight, smooth, we would assume in ancient times. So it stands, as I said, quite unique.
Now the question is how we can find the connection between these three elements, the gate, the building and the tower, that all belong to the MB and built during the MB, to the water system that in the late Bronze Age was out of use already. So we have the sandwich, but the parts of the sandwich are not tied one above the other. They are separate.
We are now in Tel Gezer doing our 7th season since 2010. The beginning was 2 years before, when 3 people from America that I don't know them stand in front of me and ask me if they can make excavation of the ancient water system. I said yes, but you have to find some fund and to invest some money in that excavation. And after 2 years they came with the money and we make a joint project of the authority and the New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, and we become very good friends, like brothers, and since then we are doing the works of the ancient water system. Okay, now we are at the end of the season. It was a very success season. We have many finds. We make a big advance in the water system at the bottom. We already at the entrance to the cavern, and we have some material that of course we have to take out in the next years. But now we are almost at the bottom, hopefully, we are almost at the bottom of the water system. Now the upper side, outside, where Chat and Gary are working under the supervision of Eli and I. We are at the bottom of the basement of the building from the MB to B, and we are hopefully find some huge buildings from the MB to A, and we figure first that the MB to A here in the Tel Gezer is much larger, much massive than we thought before. And maybe this water system even can be dated to the MB2A at the beginning of the large city of Tel Gezer. So we have a very, as I said before, we have a very success season, and we are waiting for the next season. The other thing is that we are trying to arrange this water system to the public, and since now people can get down only to the upper part of to see the water system from the upper part, and we have a fund from the government of Israel to continue the steps down to the bottom.
I've been asking myself, why did I want to come back again this year? But I would say that it's the camaraderie, the teamwork, and working toward a goal of exploring Tel Gezer and the entire Canaanite system.
My favorite thing about this trip is just the brilliant people and the wonderful people that we've had opportunity to share in this work with. Another favorite thing about this trip has been just to see and to walk and to live in the land that all the stories of the Bible occurred in, to be able to see what it's like, the materials that they dealt with on a day-to-day basis, the pottery, the artifacts, the hills that they climbed up and down, the city structures, the architecture, the day-to-day life, you know, the distance to the Mediterranean or to the Sea of Galilee, or the Dead Sea, the Qumran caves. We've uncovered this jar that was under what we think was possibly a taboon, and we've gotten about as far as we're going to be able to go without the jar collapsing, so we're going to remove this end of the jar and see what its contents are.
I don't think there was any part of the experience that I had last year that I didn't find invigorating and enlightening. I just see so much that's significant here as a Canaanite site with the standing stones over there and the Gezer calendar replica over here, and this Canaanite gate, how old it is and how unique it is. And yeah, it just seems like everything here is kind of at the top of what archaeology is all about.
We think this is a kitchen. We found quite a few vessels, and we found burn layers, we found charcoal, we found a lot of stuff. So in this corner we found a lot of pottery, kind of just like stacked and mushed together. So for the past week I was uncovering it. I was getting to the bottom of the pottery levels, and I took like a whole base off, and then below that I found the rim, and I found something. It was really weird. It didn't have the same consistency as the dirt. So what we started to do was take the tip of my trowel, kind of like grain by grain, uncover the item. Once we removed it from the vessel, Dr. Roden noticed, like, at first he thought it was like a bead, and right in the sun, the gold stripes around it just shine so brightly. Dr. Warren didn't know what it was, but Svika kind of came in, and he got really excited when he saw it. He showed, was it Ellie and the other archaeologists that were there that day, and they just were over the moon, and I don't know what it is, but it's still cool. Silver and gold.